Woohoo! And we're live once again on another Tuesday, and I have a super special guest in the house today, Mac. We're having a big Mac attack. Americans know that phrase. We're having a Mac attack. No, we're having Mac here today, and we are talking about a way cool topic, which is strategic networking for LinkedIn success. And I love this because this is something I really don't know a lot about. Video, yes. Strategic networking, not so much. So that's awesome because I have Mac here to give us the guide. So Mac, before we get stuck in, can you please introduce yourself? Just tell people who you are and what you do, and then we'll just get chatting.
Excellent stuff. Well, hey, everybody. So great to finally be live on here with Gillian Whitney, which I've been following for ages. So, as I've said in one of my recent posts, go and check her out. She is a guru when it comes to video. And I tell you what, it will take you into a whole new stratosphere when it comes to LinkedIn. So please go and check her out. My name is Mac Laubscher. I've been on LinkedIn since 2007. And I've used LinkedIn mostly for building business relationships, both locally and internationally. And I got to a stage where I noticed that so many people were getting that, be the first to comment on some of their posts. And they were amazing people, but just not getting their voices heard. And that's how I got stuck into helping people on LinkedIn. And I specialize on one-on-one group programming and working with teams and corporates on how to strategically network and find their target audience and make sure that they are getting true engagement, because there's far too much of this, just spray and pray approach on LinkedIn.
What a perfect phrase. Perfect phrase. And so I'm thinking you're not one of these LinkedIn lions that just like connect, and just, connect to pitch. I'm thinking you got those guys like wrapped up in the cages with throw away the key.
Oh, I tell you what, it was quite interesting that you referred to LinkedIn lions, because I must have been a bit, hidden in my little box somewhere, because I wasn't aware of all these people actually had lions in their title on LinkedIn. And I was like, what is this all about? And they were like, oh, yeah, we just connect furiously. And I was like, and then what? And and it's like, well, then I've got lots of connections. And I've got to share a very quick story, and it's a very short one, but it's effectively one of my best mates came to me about a year and a half ago, and he said to me, Mac, he said, I'm so much better at this LinkedIn thing than you. And I was like, oh, okay. So why is that? He says, I've already maxed out my connection requests. And I was like, okay, that's nice. I said, and so what does that mean? And he went, well, and at that time, I only had about 4,500, 5,000 connections. And I went and I said, okay, so what does that mean to you? And he went, well, I can't get any more connections, so I guess that's about it now. I said, so what is the return on investment for you? Like, are you getting any business from it? And he went, well, no, I don't know anybody. And I went, I don't understand. And he goes, well, LinkedIn just suggests people, and then I go connect. And I thought, and that's your strategy. I thought, oh, wow. I was like, okay, so how do they support you, and how are you helping that network? Like, what is the engagement like? What is do you know anybody within it? And he was like, nope. I was like, well, again, and this is why I go for sanity over vanity, because what's the point? It's just another notch on your belt, but it doesn't mean anything.
Yes. So, yeah. And if they're not interested in you, they're really not your followers even. They're just people hanging on. I'm imagining a car driving by and a bunch of people just hanging on for dear life. Yes, just hanging on to your bumper. And you just go, how can that be good? And I know so many people that have made that mistake innocently. They weren't lions. They were just people that get onto LinkedIn and they kind of think, oh, okay, well, I've only got, 50 connections, 75 connections. And it's like, and my mother's not on LinkedIn, so I don't know who to connect with, right? So they just start like connecting with like a warm pulse. Boom, They connect. And then all of a sudden they find maybe they do have 10,000 connections, but they don't know anybody. Their news feed is crud. And they're just, now they've got to go through that horrible exercise of unfollowing, cleaning up your connections. Like, I just wouldn't even want to go there. And like you said, there's a limit on how many you can do. So, see, think of them as like Willy Wonka with the golden ticket to go to, like, where did Willy Wonka go? I don't know. He went somewhere. He had a magic ticket. He went somewhere. And just think of it like that. Like, everybody who comes into your network, they could be gold for you.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely. That key to the chocolate factory.
There we go. There we go. Chocolate factory. Thank you. How could I not know that? Okay. I'm such a reader too.
Chocoholic, which is a problem.
Yeah, chocoholic. Yes. It's like, I'm even seeing Gene Wilder now, Okay. So connecting on LinkedIn, that would be a funny post. Don't be like Gene Wilder. So tell me, okay. So we're not going to be a LinkedIn lion. We're not going to be the guy who's just like, I don't know what to do. Connect. So let's back it up and talk about strategic networking. So are you doing inbound and are you strategic with who you connect with in terms of who you reach out to, but also who you let into your network? Are you both?
Absolutely. And there are various reasons for that. One of the top reasons is just the massive threat that is on LinkedIn now with so many fake accounts. And I come from a security background, so I'm a little bit more cautious. I tend to check people out. So, from that perspective, there are, as I say to everybody, there are so many fake accounts out there, people that are just after identity theft or trying to, take you down a road. It's just by asking a simple question, and I tend to do this whenever anybody reaches out to connect with me, is I just ask them, hey, what was your purpose for wanting to connect? But it also opens up a whole conversation, because you just, most people just assume people are wanting to connect, but they don't look at the intention or the purpose behind it, because they just, doing that, I'm expanding my network thing, right. Which is great. Right. I'm trying to get more numbers. That's wonderful. And then what? So when I ask that question, I tend to get people turning around and saying, well, I saw this post that you did, or I saw you comment on somebody's post, or they give me context. And the moment they give me context, it's a conversation starter straight off. Whereas if they don't respond, then I know that they're probably not that active, or they're using some form of automation, or, they literally are just wanting to have another number. And then I don't have to waste my energy trying to carry on a conversation. But those that respond, that's where the magic happens. So so I do that both with in and outbound. Outbound, I always have a purpose or an intention when I reach out, because otherwise it's literally, LinkedIn is quite funny, because if somebody's a third connection, then when you try and connect with them, it says, do you know this person? And it gives you this whole interrogation, and it asks you, do you know their email? And I'm like, well, that's kind of weird, because you've just given me this whole list of like 150 people that you just want me to hit the connect button with, and I don't even know them. But I want to connect with somebody I do want to connect with, and now you interrogate me. And I'm like, okay. So I'm very intentional with my outreach as well as to who I'm trying to connect with.
Do you have any idea if people hit that, no, I don't know this person, does that does that hurt us when we respond to that?
No, it doesn't, because the way the algorithm works, and the way the LinkedIn works is, if I send you a connection request and you reject, effectively, LinkedIn just have like a counter that 3 weeks later, I can resend you a connection request. I can send it to you every 3 weeks. Okay. And you can just keep ignoring it, or you can block me, and then you don't have to worry about that at all.
I would never block you. I would never block you. You're a prize connection. I value you. I value you. So okay, so you've got a strategic of inbound and outbound dealing with the connection requests, but what I love about you, Mac, is that you take it one step further and you say, okay, so now how about let's get to know each other. Let's not just be stragglers on each other's networks. It's like, come on, let's put that inbox to use. So what are some of the things that you're doing? You like to get people actually off LinkedIn. You're in networking groups, you meet with people. You had a post yesterday, I loved it. Everybody go and look at his post from yesterday, because you kind of showed like all the people meeting in real life. It was just like, yay.
Well, this is the thing, LinkedIn it's about people, it's about individuals. And, this is one of the things I really love about LinkedIn is some of the relationships I've built over the last few years have just become really incredible friendships. And, business has come off the back of that as well. But it's just being able to connect with those like-minded people, because as I was saying to somebody yesterday, there's the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And when you look at that and you look at where people are, it's going to impact how they use LinkedIn. So as an example, if you're in a startup and you're trying to pay the bills, you're going to be doing a lot more outreach. You're going to be doing a lot more trying to connect and the whole connect and pitch thing. So you've got to be careful how you do that. But at the same time, when you reach the top of that pyramid where you're trying to connect with like-minded people, pay it forward, all those kind of things, a lot of people wait to progress through the pyramid, but you can actually do it all, in sync. So you can do the connecting with like-minded people while you're growing, because that drags you up so much quicker, because you get access to the right people. You learn the shortcuts. People, the right people will point out when you're doing the wrong things too, which I take as positive criticism, which is really good. So, as an example with yesterday's post, we had a group of people that we went and met and sat face to face. Some of them had been connected for ages on LinkedIn, but it was the first time they'd actually seen each other face to face.
Wow.
And for me, it's all about building meaningful relationships. So, I've got Felipe Cofino, who he's been in so many of my Clubhouse rooms, and he popped into my LinkedIn audio after I got the permission from LinkedIn to do LinkedIn audios. And we run a room on a Saturday where it's literally just come and introduce yourself, who you're looking at connecting with, tell us some fun facts about yourself, just so that people can get familiar with LinkedIn audio. And,
brilliant.
And all of a sudden there was somebody in the room, and so they were talking, and we found out that they were like 20 minutes away from Felipe. And we're like, wow, okay, so this is cool. So why don't you guys connect and meet up? And then another person came up, and they live 20 minutes away from where Felipe's family are in Ireland. And I'm like, this LinkedIn is you just don't know where a conversation is going to go. And
it's not like you two are down the road from each other. You're across the pond.
Exactly. We've never met, but we've become great friends through LinkedIn and through Clubhouse. But because we've developed that relationship, we've taken time to get to know each other. And that's one of the things I think is so powerful when you get to the DMs on LinkedIn, is we have the ability, and a lot of people don't know this, to send a voice memo or to send a little video message, which I'm sure you use copiously. And it's just, just before we started this conversation, you mentioned the fact that, the voice resonance and seeing somebody's expression. And you don't realize how much that helps with building relationships and rapport. Because if it's just text only, I mean, I tell my wife all the time, like, you can't read tonality into text, because how many times I've seen somebody's text message and I'm like, well, they're having a bad day. And I've just read it. I've read it because I'm having a bad day. I've read it in the wrong tone. And then I reread it in a positive tone. I'm like, oh, wow, actually, that's actually really positive. And I'm like, when you use that voice or you use that video, straight away people can go, hold on, there's something in their voice, there's that sparkle, there's that resonance that they connect with. And that's where you're able to very quickly build amazing relationships. I mean, I sent somebody about 6 months ago, I just sent her a voice message, and I'd looked at her posts and I saw she was doing some career stuff, and I just sent her a quick message saying, hey, lovely to connect with you. I wish you all the best on this your career thing. And here's a quick link to something that I did on Job Hacks. And she came back and did a post about my voice note. And she didn't know that like these voice notes were something that you could use. And now all of a sudden she's using voice notes and connecting with people. And that's where a lot of people, they stop. There's like, thanks for connecting. And that's as far as the connection goes with, and it's like, why would you waste all that energy, looking at somebody's profile, hitting the connection button, and then, hey, thanks for connecting, and then move on, as opposed to, hey, what brought you to my LinkedIn profile? Or, having a look at because most people are lazy on LinkedIn. They just do the connect and then they want to pitch, as you may notice. They don't want to take time out. I mean, Gillian, let me ask you this question. How many times have you had people send you a message saying, hey, I can help you with LinkedIn video and lead generation?
Yes. And you're like, oh my gosh. And then they ask me, where do you live? Where do you live?
And it's just the basic laziness that it's, if you just take, and it literally doesn't take a lot of time. It only takes 30 seconds, maybe a minute, to go going look at somebody's profile, have an idea of what's going on. But so many people are going for the spray and pray approach, and it's, you're going to get a 1-2% return if you're lucky. But how about getting 70-80% return or a 90% return if you just spend those extra 30 to 60 seconds? I
love it.
And this is why having, I've seen people have really great businesses on LinkedIn, and they've only got 500, 1,000 connections, but they've got meaningful connections. They're very targeted locally. They know what their strategy is, who they want to connect with, and they're bringing value to the platform. Right. And they get great engagement. But then I've seen other people with 30,000, 100,000, even 1 million followers. And when I speak to them, it's like, well, I don't really get anything from LinkedIn. And it's like, well, it's all superficial numbers. It's like there's, and that's where the difference lies for me is that meaningfulness as opposed to just the vanity side.
I love it. I love it. Well, let's take a couple of questions, comments, and then if we have time, I want to come back and talk about the Mac hack that I discovered from you, and we'll talk more about that. So let me get over to the comments. Oh boy, there's a bunch. Okay, so we have, I'm very excited about this event with a mind fully open to learning. What an awesome way to start. That's like,
oh, I love that.
Yay. I love that. That's awesome. That's awesome. Glad I set a reminder. So we've got a fix for this, for when you show up, and it's really important. You can make your settings so that you show up in public, and it's a really good way for people to, trust you more on these LinkedIn Lives, because this is an awesome place to network and meet with other people because you're all interested in the same topic. So it's great. So we'll pop a link in afterwards to help you with that. Oh, we've got the man in the house. John Asperian, always love it. We wonder what he's cooking for dinner, but it's great that he's here, and he's always supporting everybody in his group, and we're both in his group. So it's
absolutely, he's an incredible human being.
He is. And he's all about the people, bringing people together. So we absolutely love John. Hey, everyone.
Hey, Monique. Good to see you again.
Hello. Hi, Gillian. Great to see you, and good to meet Max. So we got some new people coming your way. You're coming your way. Hello, Gillian, Whitney, and Mac. Happy to be here from Barbados, and can't wait to hear the conversation. Don't you? Thank you. Thank you. Don't you just love the worldwide collective of these lives? And
absolutely.
And it's a microcosm for LinkedIn, because of course you just talked about audio rooms. You and I are like across the pond right now, but that's the power of LinkedIn and getting to know people that literally you could be in your DMs and somebody's awake.
Yeah, absolutely.
Somebody in your network is awake. So it's the middle of the night for you, but it's like, oh, Gillian's waking up in Las Vegas. Let me send her a request, Hey, good morning. Good morning. Woohoo.
The whole way from Canada.
Yes. Happy to be here. Happy to be here. Isn't it lovely? Happy to be here. I love all the positivity that's coming out. Hey, everyone. I love it. It's like a party. It's like a constant party. I love it. I love it. Sanity over vanity. That is just absolutely key. That's a great, I could see that as a license plate. It's just like a bumper sticker, a LinkedIn bumper sticker. I love it. I love it. Thank you for the valuable insight. Woo-hoo-hoo. From Washington, D.C., Dr. Elizabeth.
Nice.
Woo! Hey everyone. Hey everyone. This is insightful. Connect with a purpose. That is so true. To connect with purpose. Hello everyone. Hello everyone. We got lots of people just saying hello. Another one from across the pond over in your neck of the woods. I've made wonderful friends on LinkedIn. And that is a key, that when you're talking about building those meaningful relationships, Mac, it's not always about, is that person going to buy from me? Sometimes it's like you become colleagues and you both just help each other. And, you can become connectors of, let me connect this person to another person. Sometimes they're going to be a guest on your live or your LinkedIn audio events, or, maybe you're going to collaborate and do a newsletter together or something like that. And then sometimes you just become friends and you check in on them, and it's like, hey, I haven't seen you around LinkedIn. What's going on? And you find out they're sick, and, or something's going on in their family or their business or whatever. So it's like, it's just amazing the friends you can build here. Do you agree?
Absolutely. I think, one of, as a lot of people that have known me, one of the statements I always repeat is the fact, and my mantra is, you just never know where a conversation may lead. And, if you've got that intention to try and pitch immediately, you could be limiting yourself massively. And to give you an example on that, I've had, conversations where, sometimes, and all of us go through this, where we kind of look and we go, okay, we've got this target to hit financially, we've got to do this, this, and this. So we want to pitch more. And we look at our sales process, and I've been mindful of, okay, so, what is the intention? What's the outcome of this call going to be? And I've kind of pulled myself back and gone, let's just see where a conversation goes. And I keep reminding myself. And as an example, I had somebody that I thought, oh, I'm going to get them on my 12-week course. I'm going to, make sure that I close them by the end of this. And I actually didn't mention anything about the 12-week course, got on the conversation, and we chatted, and I was like, whoa, actually, they came to me and they went, well, I work with this other organization, and we're looking at, all these other options. And through the conversation, it ended up being more of a partnership, where instead of just getting that one-off potential person, another bum in seat, it was a partnership that led to so many more opportunities. But I could have been short-sighted, tried to sell them into that position. And because that was a mismatch for them, they may have gone, well, actually, no, that's not for me. And that's one of the things, you have to have an open mind and just, see where that conversation goes. And incredible friendships have come off the back of that.
I love it. I love it. That's great. Wow. I am still to establish hosting a live conversation to just know those I've connected with. I think that's really key. So let's talk about that for a second, Mac. Okay. Yeah. So say you've connected with me. Pretend we didn't do Clubhouse together and a couple of things. So we kind of already, felt like we knew each other, even though we are meeting here for the first time today, folks. So that kind of blows your mind, because we're so comfortable with each other that it's like, oh my gosh, we could just like, now, okay, we're just going to host a masterclass. It's just like, the comfort level is great, because we have met on Clubhouse and watched each other's videos and lives and whatnot. But anyways, pretend we've just met. When in the game do you suggest, hey, let's check out, let's meet? Because sometimes I have people that it's too soon. It's too soon. Like literally, it's like I barely hit the accept button and they're sending me their calendar link. And I'm like, wait a minute, I don't know you yet.
And I think this is something that I love Roy Kowalski, who comes onto a lot of the rooms that I've been in. We've mutually hosted several rooms, and I love the statement or the phrase he uses of warming people up first. And it's like it equates to the whole dating process, because right. I just look at it and I'm like, if you look at the process, and you wouldn't walk into a bar, walk over to the first person and say, hey, will you marry me and have kids with me? It's just like, and that's what people are doing on LinkedIn. And it's like, it's just mad. So I think the real thing is just look at, have a look at it logically. Is there a reason why there's a win-win situation for you and that person to be able to have that call? And what's in it for them, but also, have you earned the right to be able to ask that question? Like, have you given any value? Are you on their radar? You know, as an example, I've, you know, in the emergency services space, I've done a lot of work over the last 20 years. And through introductions on LinkedIn, I've been able to go and have a 2-hour meeting out in Australia, you know, and fly out just based on an introduction off of LinkedIn. And you know, all over the world, being able to meet with heads of state and all these amazing people. But the key thing is, if I just went straight to their LinkedIn and went, hey, so-and-so told me about you, can I have a meeting tomorrow? It's just not going to happen. But building those relationships has made a key, you know, introduction. So again, like we mentioned earlier, is just taking a few minutes out, go and have a look at their profile, see what they are posting about, see if there's any resonance. Because sometimes, guess what, there are people that you think you want to work with and you don't. You know, you can go onto their profile and go, actually, this person's not quite their values aren't aligned with mine. So actually, you could save yourself a lot of time trying to go and pitch and connect. So it's really important to just take some time, ask about them first. I find it quite strange that a lot of people, and don't get me wrong, I've done this too, because it all depends on where you are in business and emotionally and whether you're having a good day or a bad day. But when you send that first DM out and it's all about I, me, and myself, and that's that, you know, everyone's favorite subject is themselves. So if I come to you, Gillian, and I come to you and I say, hey, I want to talk all about me, you're not interested, because it's like, well, I don't even know you, so why should I care about your product, this and that, and you trying to hit your goal, and you only have 3 spots left. So what? Like, all those selling techniques, you know, a book of 15 minutes, like, why must I, like, there's no reason. It's just like, logically, it doesn't make sense. But if we can go in there and we can start building relationships, find out about them, about what they are all about, what their purpose is on LinkedIn at the present moment, what their journey is, you know, have a look at the fact that they may have just recently changed career. You know, how is that going in? How are they settling in with that new role? And, you know, I don't know about you, Gillian, but a lot of people try the artificial chit chat. So like, you know, the how's the weather going? How's the pandemic treating you? All that kind of stuff. And it's like, they haven't taken time just to look at your profile, and they're trying to use common generic touch points. It's the same as, you know, I'm expanding my network. And it's like, well, what does that mean? You know?
What does that mean?
It's like, yeah, it's like, okay, you know, is expanding it that locally, internationally, or you just want another number on, like, what is the purpose? What is the intention? And that's, I think, you know, where conversations can really start. So spend some more time talking about that person than yourself is really, really important.
I love that. And I think that my radar always goes off when somebody starts doing so how are you handling COVID? What's the weather like in insert your town in parentheses? You know, like you go, is this a bot? Like, you just start to go, is this a bot? Because there's nothing personal going on here. It's like, you know, it would be different if somebody said, hey, I looked through your profile and I see that you went to York University. I used to go to University of Toronto. I hope that's not bad because we're competitors in school. You know, that to me, that's a meaningful conversation, or, you know, whatever. But it's like, when it's just weird, generic, how's the weather in Las Vegas? It's like, it's August, it's hot. Like, what it's, you know, freak snowstorm. Like, what?
Absolutely. And for me, I mean, like, this week I've had quite a few really messages that have gone that kind of hit home, and I was like, wow, they actually took some time. You know, when people have watched, say, a video of mine in an interview, and they've messaged me going, hey, just want to connect. What you said about XYZ really hit home for me, and I just wanted to say thank you. And I'm like, right, my job here is done. You know, I've impacted one person. I've made their life better in some way. Right. And that straight away gets my attention. Conversation starter all the way. But all that generic stuff, yeah, life's too short for.
it ain't gonna cut it. It ain't gonna cut it. Okay, so I think we handled that well. So that was good. Okay, Mac hack. Okay, can't wait. Thanks, Gillian and Mac. Okay, so let's just quickly talk about the Mac hack, if you don't mind. So you're gonna, I believe this is on your featured section, or you're gonna put it on your featured section, correct? And can I just show it real quick?
Yeah,
show it. Okay, so I'm going to add it to the stream. So I just thought this was absolutely brilliant. Let me see if I can just get a different overlay here so that it shows better. Okay, so you have this amazing PDF here, and of course, oh yeah, it does go forward. Woo! And I love it because you're into the Bitmojis. And so you're talking about speaking with people and how to keep track of that. So you went through and you just said, okay, how can you extract your conversations with people? And you showed that you can do that by downloading the data. So, okay, I'm going to make everybody go read your whole thing first. I'm not going to give it all away. So essentially, downloading your messages, I just didn't even realize. I think I did the whole download. So I've done the whole data archive. It takes, I don't know, 7 million days to ever get it in an email. This one's fast because it's just your messages and then you get it. So just give everybody an idea. What information do you get when you download your messages from LinkedIn?
So I've got to give kudos to Craig Langley here, because Craig Langley, who's in the automotive industry, him and I, we became friends through LinkedIn and actually met face to face. And
he's brilliant.
He's so amazing when it comes to all the different search options. And him and I are kind of geeked out when it came to LinkedIn Sales Navigator and all those options. But then when we looked at the data side of things and extracting the data of looking at your messages, and it's quite frightening. We found on average anywhere between 50 and 70% of people that you have connected to over time never go beyond the first message. So it's basically connect, thanks for connecting, and that's it. So many people are, I want to find new business, I want to grow my network. And it's like, but what about those poor people in the graveyard that is called your connections that you haven't even spoken to? And just, if you're already connected, even if, and I spoke to somebody yesterday and they said, well, the thing is, but I haven't spoken to them in like 6 months, or I connected with them 2 years ago. So like, where do I start? And I thought, well, that's the perfect opportunity for me. It's like, I can't believe we've never spoken. We've been connected for 2 years. How about, I've just had a look at your profile and I didn't realize you do X, Y, Z. How have you been doing? How's LinkedIn going for you? Just starting a conversation.
Love that.
And asking about them. And it's amazing where those conversations then go, because then I've had people come back going, oh no, I haven't connected with you in a long time, Mac, but I'm loving the new mini series you're doing, or I'm loving what you did here or what you did there. And it's like, oh, what? And this is where you realize that people are watching, because as we know, the whole 1990 concept, only 1 to 2% of people are actually posting on LinkedIn.
Right.
2 to 9% are actually engaging, liking, sharing, commenting, but about 90% of people are voyeurs. They're the ones that are watching what you're doing, and they'll do business with you, but they want to look at your reputation. They want to see what you put out there. They want to see who you are, how you come across, how you behave in the comment section, as an example. And that's where, you've got gold right in your connections. You just need to go digging.
I love it. Panning for gold. I love that. Panning for gold in your own connections. Okay. So we're hitting up on our 30-minute mark. We've blown past it, but that's okay because you're so awesome. So everybody go over to Mac's profile, check out that. It's a handy dandy PDF. I think PDFs, we can download those and walk through. And then if you need some suggestions, reach out to Mac and figure out, where do you go from there with that, and have a conversation with Mac. So that would be awesome. So, okay, let's wind this down. So this was absolutely wonderful. Do you have any kind of like closing takeaways for us that you'd like to leave everybody with today?
I think that my major closing takeaway, and this is something that I I myself had to go through a journey to get there, but also I see so many clients who are wanting to emulate everybody else on LinkedIn. They see something and they go, oh, okay, well, I've got to do that to be successful on LinkedIn. And you know, if you could just go and sit and go and think about, there's a concept called be, do, have, and it's talking about who you want to be, not what you want to do or what you want to have. And most people move between, you know, what they want to have and what they need to do to have that, and the goalposts, you know, keep moving. But if you can work out who it is that you are, what your values are, and just be you, then you won't sit there compromising on what you want to do to try and copy with everybody else. And people will then be able to, you know, they'll be magnetized by your authentic self. And that, at the end of the day, is going to bring out so much more, because people are looking for that uniqueness, that difference. They don't want a cookie cutter, something that looks like everybody else. So embrace your uniqueness and just have some fun on LinkedIn.
I love that. I love that. Well, this has been fun. I'm so glad I know you. Thank you for being here and being my guest today. So this was just awesome. So we'll say goodbye, everybody. And yes, and we'll see you all next time. Okay, bye, everybody.
Thank you so much.